Hello everybody, it's Curtis and welcome to InformedTouristA.I. You know Florida, right? Sunshine State, beaches, Disney World, the whole 9 yards. Where the elderly retire and the young folks play. Now are you ready to dive deep into this video? But what if I told you there's a hidden side to this vacation paradise? A side with more grit than glitz, more potholes than palm trees? Yeah, we're going there. Stick around to find out what it is. We're about to expose the underbelly of the Sunshine State, revealing the top 10 worst areas that might make you think twice about booking that cheap flight. Stay until the end to discover a tip that might just save you from a Florida vacation disaster. Alright, let's kick things off with Immokalee, coming in hot at number 10. This small town is nestled in the heart of Florida, but don't let its quaint appearance fool you. This place is about as far from Miami Beach as you can get while still being in Florida. Imagine trading the glitz and glamour of South Beach for a landscape that's more about tractors than Teslas. I'm talking rural, guys, like dirt roads, fields that stretch on forever, and more mosquitoes than you can shake a can of off at. If you're a fan of wide open spaces and the great outdoors, this might sound like paradise, but for most it's a bit too rustic. Immokalee is known for its agricultural roots, which is a nice way of saying it's where your fruits and veggies come from before they end up at Whole Foods with a hefty price tag. The town is a major hub for farming, with vast fields dedicated to growing everything from tomatoes to citrus fruits. But those roots haven't translated to prosperity for everyone here. Despite its contributions to the agricultural industry, many of the residents live in poverty. The contrast between the lush fields and the rundown homes is stark and telling. We're talking serious poverty, limited opportunities, and a vibe that screams, turn around while you still can. The town has seen better days, and the signs of neglect are hard to miss. Abandoned buildings and desolate streets paint a picture of a place that time forgot. Now I'm all for an adventure, but Immokalee feels more like a wrong turn than a hidden gem. It's the kind of place where you might find yourself wondering how you ended up there in the first place. The sense of isolation is palpable, and it's easy to feel like you've strayed off the beaten path. Fun fact, Immokalee translates to my home in the Seminole language, but let's be honest, this one might not be your home. While it holds historical significance, the reality of living here is far from idyllic. It's a place where dreams seem to go to retire, and not in the good way. Coming in at number 9 is Pahokee, a town that sits right on the edge of Lake Okeechobee. Now Lake Okeechobee, that's a beautiful thing, vast, sparkling, full of life. Pahokee, not so much. This town is a prime example of how looks can be deceiving. You see that big beautiful lake? It's pretty much the only thing Pahokee's got going for it. Unemployment here is sky high, opportunities are about as scarce as a stable Wi-Fi connection, and the overall vibe is, well, let's just say it's not exactly buzzing with optimism. You know that feeling when you're driving through the middle of nowhere and you start to wonder if you've made a terrible mistake? Yeah, that's Pahokee in a nutshell. Sure, the sunsets over the lake are probably pretty epic, but you might be too busy keeping an eye on your wallet and your surroundings to really enjoy them. At number 8, we've got Palatka, a town that's affectionately known as the gem of the St. Johns River. And hey, I'm all for affectionate nicknames, but this one feels a little generous. Don't get me wrong, the St. Johns River is pretty spectacular. Wide, winding, teeming with wildlife. It's the kind of river that makes you want to grab a kayak and get lost for a few days. But Palatka itself, let's just say it's more like a cubic zirconia than a diamond in the rough. The economy here has seen better days, the crime rate is about as appealing as a swarm of love bugs, and the overall vibe is sleepy. Like really sleepy. The kind of sleepy that makes you want to chug a Red Bull and get back on the highway. Quick reminder, stick around for that insider tip at the end. It could make your Florida adventure much smoother. Chapter 4, coming in at number 7 is Opa-locka, a city that's got a unique claim to fame, its architecture. Seriously, this place is like a time warp, with these crazy cool Moorish-style buildings that look like they were plucked straight out of Morocco. If you're an architecture buff, Opa-locka is a must-see. But here's the thing, you might want to see it from the window of a moving car. Because while Opa-locka might win awards for its unique aesthetic, it's got a whole lot of other issues that are hard to ignore. We're talking crime rates that are higher than a kite on a windy day, infrastructure that's crumbling faster than a sandcastle in high tide, and an overall vibe that's more get in, get out than stay a while. Pro tip, if you see one of Opa-locka's famous Moorish-style arches, snap a quick pic and then hit the gas pedal. Chapter 5. Alright, we're halfway through our list, and at number 6 we've got Belle Glade, a town that's earned itself the unfortunate nickname of Muck City. And no, that's not a reference to some cool underground music scene. It's a reference to the literal muck, as in dirt, mud, grime, that this town is known for. Belle Glade is all about agriculture. We're talking fields upon fields of sugarcane, vegetables, and other crops that thrive in Florida's sunshine. But that agricultural focus hasn't exactly translated to prosperity for everyone here. Poverty is a major issue in Belgrade, and the town struggles with a lack of resources and opportunities. Would you rather deal with mosquitoes by the lake or potholes on the road? Belgrade lets you enjoy both. Chapter 6. Coming in at number 5 is Hialeah, a city that's often overshadowed by its glitzy neighbor Miami. And listen, I get it. Miami is all about that South Beach glamour, that Art Deco architecture, that Latin flair. But Hialeah? Hialeah is more like Miami's overworked, underappreciated cousin, who's just trying to keep their head above water. The traffic in Hialeah is legendary, and not in a good way. We're talking bumper-to-bumper gridlock at all hours of the day and night, a symphony of honking horns and enough road rage to power a small city. And the infrastructure? Let's just say it's seen better days. Think of Hialeah as Miami's overworked, underappreciated cousin who just can't catch a break. Chapter 7, Number 4, Fort Pierce, where the sun sets on your good time. Nestled along Florida's Treasure Coast, Fort Pierce is a city that offers a mix of old Florida charm and modern-day amenities. Known for its picturesque waterfront and vibrant downtown, it's a place where history and contemporary life blend seamlessly. At number 4, we've got Fort Pierce, a city that's known as the Sunrise City. This nickname is well-earned, as the city offers some of the most breathtaking sunrises you'll ever see. The early morning light casts a golden hue over the waterfront, making it a perfect spot for a peaceful start to your day. Which is ironic because you might not want to stick around after the sun sets. As the day turns to night, the atmosphere changes dramatically. The once bustling streets become eerily quiet, and the shadows seem to grow longer and more menacing. Now, Fort Pierce has its charms. The downtown area is filled with quaint shops, cozy cafes, and a variety of restaurants that offer everything from fresh seafood to international cuisine. It's a place where you can spend an afternoon strolling through art galleries or enjoying a cup of coffee at a sidewalk cafe. It's got a cute little downtown area, a historic waterfront, and some pretty decent beaches. The waterfront is a hub of activity, especially on weekends when locals and tourists alike gather to enjoy the scenic views and participate in various water sports. The beaches are another highlight, offering soft sands and clear waters that are perfect for swimming, sunbathing, or simply relaxing with a good book. Whether you're a beach bum or an adventure seeker, Fort Pierce's coastline has something for everyone. But it also has a dark side, one that's characterized by crime, poverty, and a general feeling of unease. As night falls, the city's less savory elements become more apparent, and it's not uncommon to see police cars patrolling the streets. One that's characterized by crime, poverty, and a general feeling of unease. The crime rate here is higher than the national average, and it's something that both residents and visitors need to be aware of. Poverty is another issue that plagues Fort Pierce. Many neighborhoods are run down, and the sight of homeless individuals is not uncommon. This stark contrast between the city's charming areas and its more troubled spots can be jarring. Fort Pierce is one of those places that's trying to revitalize itself, to shed its rough-around-the-edges reputation and become a destination. Efforts are being made to improve the infrastructure, attract new businesses, and create a safer environment for everyone. To shed its rough-around-the-edges reputation and become a destination. New buildings are going up, old ones are being renovated, and there's a sense of optimism in the air. However, change takes time, and the city still has a long way to go. But until that happens, it remains a place where you might want to keep your wits about you and your car doors locked. Did you know? Fort Pierce was once a hub for bootleggers during Prohibition. This bit of history adds an intriguing layer to the city's complex character, and your car doors locked. Did you know? Fort Pierce was once a hub for bootleggers during Prohibition. This bit of history adds an intriguing layer to the city's complex character. The legacy of those days can still be felt in some of the older buildings and hidden corners of the city. Fort Pierce was once a hub for bootleggers during Prohibition. The city's strategic location made it an ideal spot for smuggling alcohol, and the remnants of that era can still be seen today. Today you might feel like smuggling yourself out of town. While Fort Pierce has its share of challenges, it also has a unique charm that keeps people coming back. Whether you're drawn by its history, its natural beauty, or its potential for growth, Fort Pierce is a city that's worth keeping an eye on. Chapter 8, Number 3, Daytona Beach, certain parts, beyond the boardwalk and into the twilight zone. Coming in at number 3 is Daytona Beach, a city that's synonymous with fast cars, spring break shenanigans, and endless stretches of sandy beach. Known for its vibrant atmosphere, Daytona Beach attracts millions of visitors each year who come to experience the thrill of the Daytona International Speedway, the lively spring break parties, and the sun-soaked beaches that stretch as far as the eye can see. But hold on a second before you book that beachfront hotel, because Daytona Beach has a split personality. While the coastal areas are bustling with tourists and activities, the inland parts tell a different story. The contrast between the luxurious beachfront hotels and the less appealing inland areas is stark, almost like stepping into a different world. On the one hand, you've got the touristy areas, the boardwalk, the speedway, the resorts, which are all about that fun in the sun vibe. These spots are designed to cater to visitors looking for excitement and relaxation, offering everything from thrilling races to serene beachside lounging. But venture a little further inland, away from the neon lights and the roar of the crowds, and you'll find a different side to Daytona Beach. The inland areas are often overlooked by tourists, and for good reason. The buildings here are less appealing, the streets are more deserted, and the overall atmosphere is a far cry from the lively beachfront. We're talking neighborhoods that have seen better days, crime rates that are higher than a kite on a windy day, and an overall vibe that's more lock your car doors than let's party. These areas are a stark reminder that not all of Daytona Beach is a vacation paradise. The contrast can be jarring, especially if you're not prepared for it. Sure, the beach is great, just don't stray too far inland unless you're into budget motels and awkward conversations. While the shoreline offers stunning views and a perfect place to unwind, the inland areas can feel like a completely different world. So, if you're planning a trip to Daytona Beach, make sure you know which side of the city you're heading to. The beach side offers all the fun and relaxation you could want, but the inland areas might just leave you feeling like you've stepped into the twilight zone. Chapter 9. Number 2, Lakeland, certain areas. Stuck between a postcard and a police blotter. At number 2, we've got Lakeland, a city that's often overlooked in favor of its more famous neighbors, Orlando and Tampa. And on the surface, Lakeland seems like it's got it all, a charming downtown area, a plethora of lakes, hence the name, and a slower pace of life that's a welcome change from the hustle and bustle of the bigger cities. But beneath that picturesque facade, Lakeland is grappling with some serious issues. We're talking rising crime rates, a lack of resources in certain areas, and an economy that's struggling to keep up with the needs of its residents. Lakeland, where the lakes are scenic but the surroundings not so much. Not so. Chapter 10. Number 1, Northwest Jacksonville, where potential meets reality. And finally, taking the top spot is Northwest Jacksonville. Known for its alarming crime stats and lack of community resources, this area is often considered one of Florida's toughest places to live, or visit. It's got potential, but it also has a long way to go. Now, I'm not here to sugarcoat things, so let's be real. Northwest Jacksonville has a reputation, and it's not a good one. We're talking poverty, crime, and a lack of opportunities that have plagued this area for far too long. But here's the thing. Northwest Jacksonville is also a community that's resilient, that's full of heart, and that's fighting hard to overcome the challenges it faces. Pro tip: if you're looking for excitement in Jacksonville, maybe stick to the Jaguars game instead. Outro: the Sunshine State's underbelly. So there you have it, the top 10 worst areas in Florida, the places that might make you want to pack your bags and head for the hills, or at least a different state. But hey, don't let this list scare you off completely. Florida is a big, diverse state with something to offer everyone. Just remember to do your research, be aware of your surroundings, and maybe stick to the tourist traps if you're feeling extra cautious. Thanks for watching InformedTouristA.I. Please hit the like button and subscribe. It's free and helps support the channel. Now check out one of these videos if you want to learn more as an informed tourist.